Most of the time we don't need to set a default member for a dimension because we just let analysis services set the default automatically to the all level. But remember, for the accounts attribute, we set is aggregatable to false, so there is no all level. And as a result, when we browse the cube, if we don't include the account dimension in the query, it's going to give us the balance sheet. So let's take a look at what happens when we browse the cube. If we do not include the accounts dimension on rows or columns or in the filter, it gives us our balance sheet total. It's 0, and it might be confusing to users. So we need to either place the dimension on rows or columns to see a value other than 0, or if we were to put this up in the filter, we can see that it defaults to balance sheet, and we'd need to set something else. That might be the behavior that you want. But if you prefer, you can set one of these accounts as the default member to use. So for example, if you want to see the net income by default, you can set that as the default member for the parent-child hierarchy. So we do this back in the Dimension Designer, select the parent-child hierarchy, and then we go to the default member property and click the button here. And it allows us to either choose a member to be the default, or we can enter an MDX expression if we want that to be some kind of a dynamic type of default member. We could calculate the current date and select the corresponding date member, or maybe we want to set a value based on who the current user is or the current security role. In this case, it's very simple just to navigate the hierarchy tree and make a selection, net income. But notice that it does show us what that value is. So as I make different selections here in the tree, I actually see the member's unique name appear down here. So that would be the key value that's associated with my selection of net income. And that's all there is to it. We just click OK and then deploy the solution. Then when we go back to the cube and notice with accounts not on the columns or rows that we get our net income here. If I bring it onto rows, you can see that that is in fact the net income. So we move it off. We can see that net income is our default member value.